welcome. Welcome to Leading Ladies, Leaving Legacies. I am Joy Ruffin. My work with you is as a leadership and style consultant, a signature style specialist speaker, executive producer, TV host, and podcaster. It's all connected. It's all aligned. And I work with women who want to amp up their wow factor. And there's so much more involved with that. And I'll share that with you a little bit later. But tonight, my featured guest speaker, I can't wait to tell you a little bit about her. I found her on a channel that I was doing a little research on. And I just, well, I fall in love. And I fall in love with people who are worthy of my love. This lady is absolutely fantastic. And I know you're going to feel the same way. Her name is Sara Sepehri, or something very close to that. She gave me permission to mispronounce it. But I want to share with you a little bit about Sara, because her background excites me. The title is How Can You Live in Purpose and Spark Your Fullest Potential? Because that's what she is all about. Here's a little bit about her. She worked alongside presidents, CEOs, helping them run their companies for over 2 decades. When you see her, you're not going to believe that. I didn't. And this massive experience led her to really want to delve into knowing more about the persona, the personality, and that's the work that she does now. Now, I could go on and on about her personality, but I know you want to meet her. So I'm just going to ask you, because we have so much to talk about and to cover, and the time flies here quickly. Don't I say that every week? So I want you to just sit back and help me welcome our featured guest speaker, Sara Sepehri. Sara, come on up.
Thank you. Beautiful introduction. I appreciate it.
Thank you for that, but I wanted to keep it short and brief because you and I have so much to discuss. Sara, your work excites me. It ignites something in me because we're doing it in a different way, but it's the same thing. It's about leadership. It's about know thyself. It's about knowing who you are, and there's so much more. But tell us a little bit about more. I gave a little bit of highlight about why you came to do the work that you're doing. And I know you, like me, you multitask and you got other things going on, but this is your heartbeat. So share with us a little bit about how you came to do the work.
Absolutely. So I worked, like you said, for over 2 decades for various companies, international. I'm originally from Montreal, Quebec, Canada, and now I live downtown Los Angeles. So I've been fortunate to travel a lot and to work for Fortune 500 companies. And one thing I've learned is authenticity through time. So when you're authentic, you tend to be living in your fullest potential. Now, authenticity doesn't mean that you're number one and you're always right. Authenticity simply means that you listen to your inner light, which is a unique signature, like a light signature to yourself. So you can, let's say the wrong answer. It might not feel well, but you have to say the wrong answer to feel that and know your truth, right? So that's why it's really important, in my opinion, after 20 years of working with stars and high profile founders and corporate CEOs, that authenticity is the key. Authenticity is what gets you through performing at your best.
I love that. And Sara, that's exactly what I was going to start off with. And you gave me good intro into that, because what you added to that, which really resonated, everyone's heard me say this over and over. I am repetitive in many ways, but all good, to the marrow of my bones. And that is, you said our truth is our unique light signature. Mm-hmm. And I use signature style for the individual because we all are unique in everything that I do. So expound a wee bit more on that uniqueness of one's style and signature and the truth and honesty of knowing who they are.
Absolutely. So you find out who you are by knowing who you're not. Because when you're born, there's no way for you to know who you are, right? You like certain things and you don't know why you like these certain things. And you don't like certain things and you don't know why, right? So it's a question of trial and error. So the first 7 years, you're learning about, your environment, your parents and, whoever that's in your circle. Then you actually practice whatever you've learned. So from 7 to 14, now I'm practicing what mom and dad did. And now I'm learning through trial and error, and you tweak yourself till 21. That's why they say after 21, you should be able to, fend for yourself and live on your own. because it's the time of where you've matured with your patterns. So let's take me as an example. 20 years ago, when I first started as an assistant, I was working at startups, So startups are little companies with little funds, but you wear many hats because you can't, hire 100 people. You got to hire 5 people to do the work. So
Right.
in the beginning, I would never speak up. You want me to do this? No problem. You want me to do this? No problem. So I fitted the role perfectly, if you ask me. Interviews, I always got them. Why? Because I knew what to say right at the right time, right? But I wasn't being authentic. I was meshing in. I was doing what I was supposed to do. I was doing what I was told to do, right? So after a decade of, constantly listening and taking orders, I started speaking up. Hey, you know what? I've been doing this for 10 years. Maybe we shouldn't do it like this. Now that's putting me at risk, right? Because now I'm telling the president what to do. And now it's the assistant, which is a lady, telling a guy, CEO, what to do. It doesn't really, sit well. But I've learned that you got to take risks in life. So by me speaking up, they're like, hey, you know what? She knows what she's talking about. And then I started developing my authentic self. So it's hard to develop your signature if you're scared of talking, if you're scared of standing out, or even saying the wrong thing. Like, God knows how many times I've said the wrong thing. I can't even count anymore. But you know what? Now I say the right thing because I used to say the wrong things. And now with practice, trials and error, with a lot of embarrassment, now I know what to say 40 years later, like.
Well, Sara, that's a great explanation of what we're talking about. Because when you talk about the inner light and we don't know who we are,
Yeah.
we come here, depending on what source you believe, and all of them are connected in one way or another. We come here and we forget who we are. And we're all powerful beings.
Yeah.
And when you talk about we forget and learn to speak up and you have to take risk, you also mentioned to me we have to be aware of our triggers and our reactions, which is what you're speaking to. But my question to you, and I'm sure that most everyone wants to hear this, how do we, because we've forgotten why we're here and what we're to do and how powerful, and I love the word powerful, we are. How do we get to discover who we are, why we're here, and what our mission and purpose is in life? That's what people want to know. And a lot of people skip over it and they dance over it. But we, you, me, and many of us know that that's what they're doing. But what about that authentic person who really wants to be powerful and shine their light on others in love?
Okay, so by doing that, like you said, know thyself, right? So my YouTube channel, I go over the gene keys. I'm a huge fan of this tool. The Gene Keys is a book written by Richard Rudd. It's, you put in your date of birth, your time of birth, and your place of birth, and all the information is private. Please don't be scared of your information being sold.
Good point.
It's private. Yeah, please rest assured. Then you'll come up with a hologenetic profile, and this hologenetic profile is a set of keys that pertain to you, just like a horoscope. Like, let's say if you're a Virgo, you tend to be very analytical, So it tends to have these patterns that are specific to your spiritual growth. So that is one tool that I love to use, because by seeing exactly what your shadows are and where you are within your shadows, if you're an introvert or an extrovert, like how you express your shadows, then if you've come out of your shadows and if you're at the gift level or if you've passed your gift level. So it's a complicated, it's not that complicated, but it's complicated to reduce in just a 5-minute conversation. I would highly recommend people to check out my YouTube channel. It explains everything from, beginning to end. So that's how, basically, by being proud of who you are, you get to shine your light. If you're not proud of who you are, if you're ashamed of who you are, you will not be able to shine that light because you're dimming it. So know thyself.
Yes, Sara, I completely agree with that. But then we have our choir of why people. And I understand the why people because I used to be a big why person. I still am in a different way. Because the shadows, if you don't get some type of a source, there's a lot of extremists out here who it's fakery. It's a facade. It's not really real. It's a pseudo. They think that they really know who they are, and they don't. And most times, no judgment, but you could sniff it and you could smell it a mile away. So the triggers and the reactions and how you respond, if you're going to be a risk taker, you have to learn how to communicate and show up where you don't damage in a hurtful way that other person's ego is the only word I can think of.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So you
And
always express yourself without hurting others. That, I 100% agree with that.
yeah. And I think most of us, when it comes to the art of communications, we don't know how to do that because we have that need. And I say we because we're universal and we're one. I bet you believe that as well.
Absolutely.
You have to be right. No, we don't.
No.
And that's important. Have you found in the people that you're consulting with and that you have been working with in a loving, light way? And they're the words, Sarah, light keepers, light beings, light workers, gatekeepers, and it goes on and on and on. Do you believe that most everyone comes, because this is a big collective? How many billions of people here?
8 billion, right?
Yeah, but we're all one. That's very disconcerting for most people. They can't fathom what that means. How do you explain that?
Well, there's enough room for everybody. I don't see the, us running out of space. If you ever do think we're running out of space, just go visit Canada. You have yards and kilometers of space. Like, trust me, we're not running out. So, it's a question of be your authentic self and express yourself and try not to hurt anybody. However, if you're socially awkward, don't let that prevent you from speaking up.
I love that.
You might say the wrong thing and you might have the wrong tone. Like, for the longest time, I grew up with 3 older brothers, for the longest time, my tone was like the teacher tone.
Yes, I love what you're saying, because when you say speak up, you can speak up and be vulnerable, but yet be your strong, powerful self. And I'm learning that in one of the groups, because there's a lot of things I don't comprehend, I don't get, whatever. Yeah. And I have no shame in speaking up. But that's the coming to. You say here, communicate openly with ourselves and others. And you have ways and means of doing that. So share with us a little bit about meditating, journaling, all that other ways that you find are good for people to open up and blossom into who we're here to be.
Sure, absolutely. So to communicate, with ourselves and others. Yes. So ourselves would be meditate, to take some time off and to literally go inside and to get to know yourself, because only when you pause on life can you understand what's happening, right? If the movie's rolling, you can't really see what's happening. You have to press on the brakes to analyze what just happened, let's say. So that's meditation, to bring you back into center. Journaling, so you can get to know yourself. See how you feel that day, what, let's say, you want to accomplish, just whatever that comes out while you're journaling. Intuitive research, that's something I like a lot. Just aimlessly researching on topics that you find interesting, just so that you can have more information on them. And then creative expression, like I like to make videos, so I decided to make videos. It doesn't have to be monetized. It doesn't have to be, your full-time job, as long as it's something that you enjoy doing and it works on your creativity. So like, as I was saying, let's say if you're socially awkward and you don't have the proper tone to talk to people, we're all instruments, right? We're like a piano or violin. You have to tune yourself. So only by speaking can you tune your tone. And like you were saying, you can say something offensive, but you have to say something offensive to know that it's offensive, right? If you don't say it, then you won't know. So again, you speak authentically, you communicate, you try not to hurt anybody, but then you tune yourself just like an instrument. You tune yourself, and with years you get better. So, others would be learning their love language. We have very different love languages. For me, compliments, I can't care less about compliments. It's all about action, right? So, right? So, after 20 years of hearing words, they sort of don't mean anything after a while. So it's a question of learning their love language.
See, what? Sarah, I just, you can go on and on. You and I are friendly together. But you know what? You use so many words here that are crucial. I'm going to take a quick little break, but before I do, you use that word pause. Yes. We are in now, you, I, all of us, me, all of us here in the Insta society. People want things just like that. Yes. So that pausing, breathe, and take a moment is crucial. And I love that you say we have to tune in to our tone and how we're relating and connecting and all of that. All of this is pure juice for me, golden. I like to even take it higher and say platinum. I'm going to put you in the green room for just a brief second while I do a quick little reset, and I'm going to be back with you. And I want to talk about to love your solitude, because that's a big one. And I really want to expound on that a wee bit. So absolutely. I'll be back with you in just a second. Woohoo! Isn't this exciting? I hope you find it so, because I do, because there's nothing better than getting to know who you are, why you're here, and what you're to do. And this is just one of the many avenues the most profitable avenues that you can explore. If you're not a member of Leading Ladies, Leaving Legacies, don't I say every week, well, why not? Because we are a group of leading ladies. Sarah's one of the many, and we are all about vision. We're all about your mission. We're all about your purpose. And we want you to come and collaborate, connect, and make change with us, because we're about a movement for all of us women, especially divine. Nothing wrong with the divine masculine and the divine feminine, but I'm working with the divine feminine. We want to know, feel, and project the power within us in love, with a lot of humility and compassion and all those other good words. And you know what comes after. We're talking about it tonight in a different vein, but it's all the same. Know thyself. This affiliation about my gift to you is all about how you unlock your magic. Sarah mentioned the gene keys. We'll expound, if we can, a little bit more about that. This is human design. They're so connected. And your assignment, if she can put that back up, a screenshot or a snapshot, get the link and make sure that you partake in that. And then Sarah has a graphic. I'd like for you to see the graphic and for you to take a screenshot and a snapshot. Please make sure you get her email and her mobile number, which she's honest and forward enough. I do the same, because we don't have privacy anymore. And we don't want it if we're in a business where we're here to serve as people. Make sure you take that screenshot or that snapshot, and we're going to put it up again towards the end. But Sarah, back to you. I love your energy and your dynamic conversation back and how you explain what you do. When I saw this, to love your solitude, because of something that is for me a personal thing, and I realize now we have to be our own best friend. Mm-hmm. We don't have to, as my friend would say to me, and I love her, we are invited to be our own best friend. We are invited to learn how to communicate with ourselves so that we are really never alone. Some people can't stand to be alone. So when I saw this, I said, whew, this is powerful. So speak to us a little bit about that, because I think a lot of people who need people constantly around them all the time, they need to receive this message.
Absolutely. So we live in a world of distraction. So there's distractions everywhere. And listen, I'm very guilty. I love being distracted by glittery things and movies and music and stuff.
Me too.
So, right? So that's the whole point, right? You're so distracted that you don't really know who you are. How do you know who you are? By sitting alone, by yourself. Now, when I ask, let's say, family members to meditate with me, their first reaction is, oh, I could never do that. And I see this little subtle vibration of, I'm proud. And I'm like, well, why are you proud? If you can't meditate and you're proud about it, you know what it means, right? It basically means you can't sit with yourself, which is not a good sign if you think about it. So if you're your own best friend and you lock yourself in a room and you're driving yourself crazy, then you're a psychopath, right? Like if you think about it, you're not a teacher, you're not Buddha, right? So you're basically somebody that you do not want to sit next to, right? Because they're driving you crazy. So if you actually look at it from that point of view, there's a lot of work to be done, right? Because you can't sit with yourself. So for me, it was very difficult. So I went to Vipassana. Vipassana is like a 10, 12-day retreat where you lock yourself in, because I was like, man, I can't do it. So I got to lock myself in and force it, right? So not everyone has that 2 weeks off. Like I worked a whole year to have 2 weeks off, and then I went locking myself in. Like people don't want to do that. And I completely understand. But a lot of times the universe kind of gives you a lesson and you have nowhere to go. So that was my case. I had nowhere to go. So I went there, and then I went inward, right? So I've been doing this for now, I don't know, like 20, 15 years. I want to just keep it to 15 years. I don't want to keep counting. But anyways, let's just say I've been on my solitude for 15 years, right? Yeah. When you're in your own solitude and you have the greatest time with yourself, be careful, because this is what happened to me. I would take myself on the best dates. I'd be like, Sarah, what restaurant do you want to go today? Oh, I want to go here. All right, let's go. I want to go to walk to the beach, right? I did everything I always wanted to do. Now, fast forward 15 years later. If you've always done everything you've always wanted to do, then the presence of other people kind of becomes like a bottom, and you're like, you're kind of getting in the way of me and myself. So that's where you want to be at. You want to be so comfortable in your skin that you rather be with yourself in your solitude than with strangers. Now, when you've been to that level, then you can balance, right? Then you know how to be with strangers and with yourself and not drive anybody crazy, not
You
them.
know, yes, Sarah. One of the things that all of us we hear all of this rhetoric, the jargon and verbiage over and over and over, as above, so below, go within, because inside out, all of that. And a lot of us speak to it, and yet the true essence and the meaning of it, we don't know. I heard this said not too long ago by another dear beloved that I admire and follow. And I want your take on this. She said, when you began to go more inside and you become your own best friend and you truly love yourself, you don't need others, but you have a craving to want to be around others because you know how important it is and meaningful it can be in your life. But there's a difference between needing people and wanting people to be with you, or you wanting to be with people. Do you get the separation there? Because as soon as she said it, it resonated with me.
Yeah,
Because
I
if
agree.
you need to have people around you and need to be out there, it's a whole totally different scenario from
Okay.
wanting people to be with and blah, blah.
I agree. So what we need here is the connection. That's not necessarily what, okay. So what we need as a human being is a connection. Now, doesn't have to be to people. It can be towards animals. It can be towards a life mission, but you need that connection. For me, it's animals. Like I have a lot of animals and I love them. And because I have a lot of animals, I don't have the need to go find like human beings, right? Like my clients and my group of friends is enough. But because I have that connection, now if I didn't have this much pets, definitely I would go and try to find humans. Now, that's where the need comes in. You need to have a connection. However, we blossom through connection through people. So that is, since COVID, I know so many people that work from home, including myself. Now, we don't really go out that much. We don't socialize, no more happy hours, no more dressing up, all of that is over. And I have no problem with that, but it needs to get replaced. It needs to get replaced with something else.
I can agree with you to a great extent. And you've given us some great buzzwords here. The pause that you mentioned and this thing about connection as opposed to need and want, and how it can be animals and other. And that leads me to the last point of reference that you gave me, which I love. And you spoke to it several times in different ways. Let's pursue it a little bit further. And then I want you to share with us this new excitement that you shared with me. But this thing that you mentioned to me, point of reference, follow your bliss, because our passions fuel us. That's what you said. Now share with us how you're tying and relating all of this into this newness that you're about, that I think you said is donation based, because we're going to put up your graphic again and ask them while you're talking and sharing with us what follow your bliss means to you and how major it is for others, because your passions fuel you. I completely agree with that. And we have your email and we have your phone number. So share with us a little bit about what that means to you, and then your donation-based new excitement that you're all wired up about. I love it.
Sure, absolutely. So follow your bliss. Following your bliss, just like I said earlier, everyone has a unique like signature. So your bliss to you is different than my bliss, than Joy's bliss. Every single person's bliss is different. And again, you follow your bliss without hurting anybody, as long as it doesn't hurt anybody. So follow your bliss. Now, my bliss is to help people and raise their vibration, right? So it's a question of, in these companies, I had people come in and having all sorts of problems. Now, a lot of people don't know what a life coach is. So a life coach is somebody that helps you through difficult times. Now, this is a huge topic. I'm not going to get into from where to where. But bottom line, if you're having trouble, someone with 20 years of experience can guide you. So because a lot of people don't know what a life coach is, this is like a new thing. I have a special offer. I'm donation based. So you give it a shot. If you don't know what a life coach is, give me a call. I help you through, your problems. If you don't think I did a good job, donate a penny. If you think I did a great job, donate whatever you can. Now, this is eliminating the pressure, because I'm saying, I'm telling you, these life coaches, they go from $100 to $5,000. I don't want this to be an issue for anybody. My bliss is to raise people's vibration. And if I can do this full time, I'm in my mission. And if you can help yourself without worrying about what a life coach is and how much they charge, then you also won in this game. So I want everyone to be a winner. Everything's win-win. We're all connected. Help me help you. But I cannot help you unless you pick up the phone and you call me. I cannot help you unless you reach out and say, I have a problem and I need your help and I only have $2. No problem. You have a line for suicidal people. You have a line for 911, one for ambulance. Now you have a line for life coach. 24/7. Leave me a message if I don't answer. Leave me your name, your number, and the problem you're going through, and I will call you right back.
I think that's brilliant, Sarah. And I think the way that you project and the way that you explain that, because we're all here in our style, fashion, flair, the flavor of who we are, to raise the vibration, however you're doing that, and what you're doing and what you're offering. And I like that you started off with so many people, because there's so many different types of life coaches.
Yeah.
And it's not qualified enough that people really get the essence of what it is. And when you say that you're here to support all of us to raise our vibration by knowing who we are, know thyself, which is my premise, and you're doing it in a different way, but it all comes together. I love it. And I wish you the best of luck with that, because we have your name and your phone number. Your graphic was up there and I didn't say, but I'm sure people know, and you're going to get this, to take a screenshot or a snapshot of that graphic. Because Sarah, what you're doing, I don't put anybody on a pedestal, and those days are over. I used to, but I really applaud and celebrate people who are doing the type of work that you're doing. Thanks. So the time just goes here and it's almost like over. And to end with follow your bliss, because it fuels your passion. I see, I sense, and I feel yours, and your honesty and your integrity comes through. Because I think what you're doing, donation based, so many people have these donation based, but there's a little caveat there. You're making it quite clear of what you're offering. So
I don't want anyone to be shy. I don't want anyone to be afraid. Give it a shot. You have absolutely nothing to lose.
You want them to take the risk and speak up and find out exactly to the mark who they are and why they're here. Isn't that what? See, I believe, and we'll end with this. This is Earth School. It's a journey.
Yeah.
It never ends.
No.
And we're constantly, if we're open, learning, growing with and through others. The connection. You use the word connection. Love the word. I love your verbiage. What parting words would you like to leave us with? The time is over here, and you have given us so much. I really hope and wish for you only the very, very best, because you are a true eagle. You know, eagles come in all different sizes, like everybody, shapes, sizes, everything. But you are spearheading us where our vibration can rise to its height. So your parting words, as we say so long for now, just for now.
Sure. I love amor fati. It's a question of, love who you are and be authentic. Don't be shy of showing your true authentic self, no matter where you are in life. If you know yourself or you don't know yourself, it doesn't matter. Authenticity is the key to the law of attraction and to attract what is authentic to you. As long as you wear a mask, you're going to attract what that mask is attracting. So to peel out like an onion, peel out the layers until you find your core self. And that's the most beautiful, beautiful, state you can be in.
Wow. You are a powerhouse. I am always learning. I'll be 103 and I'll still be learning. I'm a happy senior, but I just keep the door and the mind and the heart open. I thank you. That was really beyond. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you. And God bless everybody.
Oh, take care. Much love, my lady. Friends, every week I say the same darn thing. I should get a recorder. I can push a button. But I hope that you gathered and took to heart all of the jewels that Sarah is leaving us with. I've had frogs in my throat all day today, but know her heart and what she's about. And please stay well and take care of you and join us again. By the way, we're taking another little hiatus because I'm putting together for the first time in a long time some workshops for you. And I can't wait to see you again. We'll be back November the 6th, all of October, while we're putting together all of this stuff. In the meantime, Sarah belongs to you, to me, to the universe. And your assignment, you know what it is to partake. I send you much, much love from my heart to your heart, and always only the best, the very, very best. Much love. Cheers.